working hard out there. Honey's got to get a few breaks soon.
He wants the glory. Up getting hammered to score. Throw in. Dowell with the winning goal. Colony wins.
It is semi-final action here in the women's division at the Australian Ultimate Championships Division 1. It is Avril Tam here alongside Louisa Batista. How are we doing, Lou?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm really versus the Manly Mavericks, who have come up against each other so far in this tournament. They played each other in pool play, with Mavericks actually sealing the win. Let me just double check the score. Yes, it was 15-11 when they met each other earlier.
So Abby Liddell goes up with the pull, rolls a few extra meters as well. Lynn picks up, working with Milek. And Ellipsis have set a cup, forcing to this close sideline. Has been a lot windier this afternoon compared to yesterday. So trying to trap it to this narrow side, creating a very small channel. But Lynn holds on, goes behind. That one goes over Weir's head. Egan Griffiths picks up. Short field to work with. Jess Parks now comes in support. Dumps across. She looks laterally, but doesn't like the option. And a lot of movement, but no one open. Egan Griffiths eventually gets one off. Must be sore. Oh, and that's a turn. Milek gets her mitts on the disc. So Manly with a second opportunity at this offensive point. Finds a very free player. Rickard's Tang now. Little dump to Lynn. Milek. So again, Milek and Lynn was a very casual one-handed grab, and that one turfs to the ground. So Manly on offense, unable to get the job done after 2 attempts. Can the Lippy D-line make some inroads? Squeezing it up that close sideline to Egan Griffiths. And Brass now comes up to meet the disc on a nice open under. An upline cut by Parks and a quick shot through to Valancourt, and Lippy open their account with a break to start this game.
It was flying into the face of the Ellipsis team there, having to punch it upwind for that break. Really, really impressive start to the game.
Yeah, what a way to start the semi-final. As we see Brass here, just a classic open under. And the upline momentum here from Jess Parks. Difficult to stop. Quick pass off to Valancourt.
Egan Griffiths making a really, really lovely from Manly, just wanting to take that open space away, but unfortunately leaving a little bit of a gap for that pass to get straight to Valancourt. So we now have Ellipsis starting on defense. They will be pulling with the wind behind them. Liddell hoping to send that long as she possibly Manly to receive on offense.
And a very valuable point there. Not only a break, but an upwind break for Ellipsis. So now forcing Manly Mavericks to work the offensive point upwind. I suspect they'll be throwing on that zone as we saw earlier. And that's an offside early call by Reeve. So they gain a few meters. So no surprises, a zone look again, but this time more of an arrowhead shape. So forcing Manly to throw side to side. Rickard's Tang now works with Weir. Reeve on the far side. Punches that one through, but too hot to handle for Gregory. Egan Griffiths moves up to Anderson. Dump behind to Egan Griffiths. Preston makes a nice upline cut. That one is high and floaty, but defender nowhere near. And another high and floaty shot, this time a backhand over to grass, but Weir gets in the way for the D. And it's an injury called here. As you said, bodies flying everywhere. We know that there is a big game here with all to play for. Liddell subs off. Anderson comes on, as is Meehan, so it must be another player who's ducked off to the side. Fantastic D there. And so, again, Lippy setting their arrowhead zone. There's a couple of high throws. But they call for a transition to match now. Manly managing to seek one through. Weir with the disc. Rickard's Tang. Again, a couple of these throws. Moving with the gust of wind, but Itoyo gets up. She crafts an outside in backhand. That one a little blindsided for for Gregory. So Meehan subbed on for the injured player. Egan Griffiths shakes and bakes, but Rickard's Tang gets a mitt to that.
What a wonderful intercept right on the end zone line there. And Ellipsis are going to want to make the best of this. Oh, sorry. Manly is going to want to make the best of this, setting up a vertical stack. Reeve to pick up the disc. Have they practiced? What is their go-to for their end zone?
So Reeve and Weir, no surprises to see the two of them. Rickard's Tang, this one's going to go high. Can she read it? Meehan gets her mitts on top. So another turnover. That's turnover number 7 for this point. Both sides just having to calibrate for the windy conditions. As Meehan and Egan Griffiths work the way up. Ooh. And that one is overshot Ruby Anderson, who's tall but not tall enough to snaffle that one down.
Ellipsis calling for a trap on the sideline. Manly able to centre it, sending it back to Reeve on the sideline.
The wind is gusting up really strongly. So all the players have to put plenty of zip, use their wrist to generate the spin of the disc to penetrate. Ooh. And Gregory, that one goes above her head again. Oh, and that one just turfed the wind, pushing that one all the way to the grass in front of Preston. So they take a breath as they reset here. Lippy opting to stay with their zone. Manly with about half a field to work with. So making sure to do snappy throws to the chest. This one floats over the top to Wu. And the zone now catch up, but Wu, a really nice flick shot through the cup. But the wind gets blown over the top of Itoyo. Preston, upline. Points. Goes to Egan Griffiths. Oh, and a snatch D there by Weir, but an immediate turnover.
Lost. I think both teams may be benefiting from just settling and making really sure of their throws here. Very quick in movement, but sometimes that movement is just setting them a little bit off balance in this wind.
Meehan with a big shot. Weir's in the area. So is Correa Gomez. That one beats them all. If you want to interrupt me, just like tap me.
Manly now having to work it all the way back up the field. As much as that long shot didn't come off, they are back in a better position, Ellipsis, to play their zone here. Still calling for that trap on the sideline, wanting to keep it on that far side.
Oh, Itoyo!
A little bit of a rebound there.
Weir now goes the hammer. That one is going to blade, but well received. And Rickard's Tang comes up to meet the disc.
Manly doing really well to use the whole width of their field. A lot of confidence in their throws just in that little quick possession there. And a big one.
Weah is sick of having the disc caught on this sideline. She goes, I'm going to roost a big one. But
And a record 27 passes in this point alone from the Mavericks side, 13 for Asterisk. So Manly with a lot of possession, a lot of passes, but the turnovers are also happening.
Yeah, nothing to show for a lot of hard work on the throws in these windy conditions. Me and Itoyo sniffing a D, and the next one is turned over again. Turnover number 15, would you believe, Lou?
Yeah, it's windy. It's one of those points where it's just a bit of a slog. Manly now in a much better position, taking the disc from their end zone this time.
Not much movement from the stack, so Weah's isolated in the dump space, and a little one to Reeve who jumps that one in.
Lovely little handler give go from there. Not wanting to push it to the point of maybe getting it to the cutters. A bit too risky keeping small ball, really working in their favour. Well done from their handlers that point. That was a large number of throws from the Manly side.
Yeah, total passes from both teams totaling 40, so a long one. We might have to earmark that one to keep an eye on. If the conditions continue to blow and gust up and down, it might be a bit of a scrappy game on our hands. But no surprises here. Weah and Reeve, who have been huge for this team, they are absolute game changers. So I suspect Manly Mavericks will be looking towards the two of them to try and really turn its game on the head.
And as tricky as that point was for Manly, they now put themselves in a really great position. They were able to work it upfield. They are now pulling to an Ellipsis, who are going to have to work it into that wind. As we saw when Ellipsis was working down the other way, that deep throw, it just soared. There is enough of a wind to make this a challenging aspect of their game to overcome. So excited to see what Ellipsis will do, and excited to see if Manly also employs the zone to try and really smother that and make it hard for them to get that disc ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting because Lippy have already put two types of zones on. They had the arrowhead, so the aim of that zone is to get the offense to throw side to side and throw lots of passes and eventually commit a throwing error. With the trap side, they're trying to get them stuck on the disc, difficult to throw in the wind, so they have to throw either through the cup or over the top to combat the zone.
Yeah, and we did see a big swirly overhead. It does have the chance to just get blown out of the receiver's hands. So yeah, both zones working quite well in these conditions.
And I think more the unpredictability of this wind, it's kind of got a steady baseline and then some extra gusts over the top. So sometimes you release the disc thinking it's going to go one way, and then the wind has other ideas and blows it somewhere else. So Mia now, Chong working hard up line. She goes for a scuba, and that one just bounces up of Chong's hands and rolls out the sideline. So this is a prime opportunity for Manly to try and peg that break back.
Reeve playing a defensive point as well, now picking the disc right outside of her end zone. Did well with that handler small ball. Last point. Nice big centre.
Carty moving her mark with the pivot. Not an open option downfield, but eventually she finds one despite some bidding efforts from and Otten with the disc. Similar position to where Reeve was moments ago.
Wentworth as the dump reset there. Lots of space. There seems to be poaching off of Wentworth.
Yeah, dangerous. Wentworth, a very skilled thrower. So Lippy do well to hold things up. Wentworth having to opt for a small ball to Kim. Back to Otten.
Back to Wentworth.
Happy to continue moving the disc with small ball Manly, staying patient. They know this is a crucial moment to get things back on serve, but the stall count rising to Kim, and Reeve does well to get that one, but it's a straddle. And this one goes over the head of Carty, but the scraps
the scraps have been cleaned. Wow, Stoddard there. Nice layout, managed to keep that off the ground. A ground strip would have been very possible in that circumstance, but managing to keep her hand under it, keeping the disc alive. Really, really well done. You can see from her face, says it all. Really happy with herself on that one.
So Manly very crucial to try and get that break back, and they do that nice and early in this game. So maybe a question of who can hold. As we said, both D-lines having opportunities and converting.
Having another look. I'm not sure if Stoddard was the intended receiver for that pass. We can see the
definitely not.
stall count getting high for Kim there. Reeves takes it and then just looks across the end zone. Over the head of Carty, and just fantastic Fantastic control to keep that from ground stripping there from Stoddard.
Yeah, this was a really risky situation with Kim. Stall count must have been 8 or 9 even. Reeve also making sure she got on ground to secure that one. And
O'Connor close, but not close enough. Having to just watch Stoddard make that incredible grab.
Well done by Stoddard. In these conditions, you have to be ready for the backup or second attempts. So knowing that the wind was blowing a little downwind and a little bit to her left, making sure she was in a position to get those scraps.
So Manly up on the scoreboard now with a 2-1 lead over Ellipsis Asterisks. And we are to do a big pull. Punching into that bit of a breeze, managing to get it past the brick mark.
That is a fantastic pull by Weir to get it fairway down the field. Karima having to stand still. Stall must be 5 or 6. She squeezes that one through successfully to Parks. And a little 1-2 with Ma. And a nice high release flick weighted beautifully to Weatherall.
Making really sure that she had that in her hands. Really, really reliable receiver, Weatherall, and you're seeing the chemistry flow between Ma and Parks and Weatherall, all having played Firetails last year, representing Australia at the World Ultimate Championships. You can see in their gameplay that trust and respect for each other as players and athletes is there, and making a really easy offensive look for that downwind possession just there. First clean hold of the game, Avril, I believe. We can see there Ma, just fantastic vision, nice stable forehand, carrying a little bit far, but Weatherall fantastic to keep that in her hands.
And again, I think the receivers, knowing that the wind is going, like I said, slightly towards the camera and then to the left, adjusting the way that they position themselves for the fall of the disc. So Weatherall, she crept a little under it, but kept her eyes on and kind of knew that it was going to sway towards her left, so was in a position, didn't kind of overrun and get sucked underneath the flight path of the disc.
And I'm not quite sure if I'm reading the jerseys right, but I think Weatherall, a Kiwi player herself, I think she just made that layout grab in front of her Kiwi counterparts.
Oh, wow.
The Wildcats. I think that's why we saw such a positive reaction. Love to see Kiwis supporting Kiwis.
Yeah, Wildcats unfortunately bungled out at the quarterfinal stage. They lost on Universe Point against Juggers. Make sure to tune in because we've got plenty of fantastic stream games, both live and on replay. But Manly now streaming forward. Rickard's Tang now. Lynn, Axis handler here, a quick release. I like that look by Milek to get this to the wide side.
Getting those, they've got to take those opportunities when the mark just lets off to get those swings out. So well done to Manly there.
But that block by Jess Parks, just sniffing that one and then running through. Oh, but that one is bobbled. Uncharacteristic drop by Egan Griffiths.
I think it was we just caught a gust right when she wanted to get her hands on that one. And they're resetting the zone.
Oh, Lynn somehow squeezes that one through the cup, but the wind just lifts it. No one's sure of where that was going to land.
Little conversation between the players here, but to the turnover stands. Egan Griffiths getting under that to dig that possession there.
And another high shot gives Rickard's Tang an opportunity, but Parks goes up nice and high and attacks that disc with vengeance. So Griffiths and hammer upstairs now to Preston. She reads that one well. Waiting for the downfield cutters to get in position. Egan Griffiths
to Lewis.
And just looking that inside one, a little bit of outside in angle, but speedy grab there
from Luo.
So again, just Egan Griffiths on the sideline, each time just centering the disc to that field cut. This time Jess Parks provides it, but there was a foul or pick called. So a nice flick arrives in Valancourt's hands, and now a pick is called. So a couple of stoppages in this possession.
So pick referring to when a defensive player is obstructed from chasing their offensive player, getting them out of position. Pick stopping the play and allowing that to correct itself by the player catching up.
Oh, and we sticks a hand in, but Egan Griffiths thinks it was an infringement. So the two players will have a chat and it's an accepted foul. Things get moving quickly. So again, Egan Griffiths, she must have been in the same position 4 or 5 times already.
Another overhead.
Oh, a hammer shot to Jess Parks.
She tried so hard to toe that one in, but I think it just couldn't stay in her hands.
Very awkward position, having to beat the line and her defender. Jess Parks playing a pivotal role in the quarterfinal that we watched on this stream earlier today. She has been working very hard and really physical, going up for some really competitive bids. So Manly, they
Big
go
send.
big option.
Jawea, can she get there? Wow!
Incredible layout. Slides a few meters across for her efforts. And now Manly.
Fantastic. That was Manly with the break, putting them in the position of 3-2, taking the lead. Am I correct that was a break?
I think that was a hold for Manly.
That was a hold.
Yes.
My apologies. No, very exciting nonetheless. We'll get another look at this massive throw. With the zone set on, just did not hesitate, and we are reading that absolutely perfectly. Full extension, Leia gets up, finds a nice reset, and to get the assist to Itoyo for the goal. Weir, I think she's quite known for those big plays, isn't she? Reading the disc, being that really reliable deep receiver.
And credit to Manly, Lippy had several opportunities. You saw Egan Griffiths on that far sideline.
Yeah, right on the doorstep.
Yeah, same play time and time again. But Manly not afraid to be aggressive, go for their big, long options, just get it in space and trust their big receivers like we are to pull it down.
Yeah. I think Manly doing well not to leave any Ellipsis player unmarked. There's been cuts are being generated, but the defense is there, and I think it's just when they get to that end zone, they're just not able to find a clear option to send to. Reeves with the pull to Asterisk. Ma in the center of the field, looking long perhaps.
Yeah, Ma loves those long options. She does oblige now. That one's going to be blading away and out of bounds. So Manly able to control their big shots. Lippy not so much.
I don't think that was as far as Ma was intending to throw that. She had Meehan, a very reliable receiver for the Ellipsis team. But yeah, just absolutely soared out of reach.
Just hasn't calibrated yet to these conditions, but I'm sure Karima will work herself into the game. She's an absolute champion, but so is Holly Reeve, coming off a Barramundi's campaign, so playing in the mixed Australian team at the World Ultimate Championships. A lot of these players know each other very well, and a lovely inside aggressive shot, but Otten bounces off her chest. So short field for Ma. She won't have to throw such a long option this time. In fact, goes a little dump to Chong, and a pick is called in the stack, so getting a little bit messy.
Manly just explaining how the pick was caused, said, I was chasing you, but couldn't get around the Ellipsis player.
So Sarah Wentworth marking Chong. Forcing backhand at the moment, so forcing into this win, but another pick. So when we get to the short field end zone, players and their spacing might need to be tidied up a little.
Noticing the setup, I'm yet to see a break cut, and I'm wondering if there's a dump out of the end zone. It looks like a very crowded end zone.
Karima now with the disc. Continue.
Well done. That's Farnkoff with the goal there.
So Farnkoff pops up with her first goal. She's had a couple of goals per game. Rosenthal on D, put in spectacular effort for a bid. Not successful, so Farnkoff very pleased. A rookie for Ellipsis this year, but she has played at the professional level in the US. So
wow.
very skilled players joining Ellipsis, bolstering their stocks. And we see the kind of break side cut from Mian opens up the under to Ma. I see Reznol's very close. I think if she had left her feet, she might have got a sniff.
Yeah, and you can see Oden just behind saying, oh, I can see this person heading towards the cone, but just not in a position where she could have made a play on that either.
So another hold here as we have a look at the Ellipsis roster.
We can see, it's just covered in big names, let's be honest. We have Lyra Meehan as captain. We have Jess Parks as captain, Abby Liddell and Preston running the spirit side of things. But yeah, so many names to mention here. A few rookies, definitely, and it's some international representation as well.
Yeah, we mentioned Ashley Farnkoff. This team also having Joe Lewis out from GB.
I think Liddell from New Zealand. I think we've got Luo from Canada. Yeah, really, really diverse squad there.
And again, Lippy putting on this cup, which is forcing Manly to this close side. But Lin, Wu, now Ricard's Tang make short work of it. And there we go. Kyle Weir, easy as you like.
Clearly from the Manly side, just they've got a great read of Weir as a target. She's claiming the space, she's moving well, and you can just see from the way that Manly responds to her movements that they're keeping track of her as an option and where she's moving to. So great patience from them, because you can see her open on the break side there. Too tricky to get to, so she makes her move to the open side for a lovely backhand from Lynn there.
Yeah, interesting. Probably about, a third of a field left to work with, and Lippy, they opted to keep their zone all the way through, so I wonder if they might revise that strategy and potentially transition to a match earlier in that defensive point, because it's a little too late now when you get free. As we have a look at the Manly Mavericks roster, as we know Ellipsis have plenty of stars, but they have two here in Holly Reeve and also, of course, Kyle Weir. But I have to say, Sarah Wentworth, she is a previous croc from the 2017.
So she coached the Firetails, Ricard's Tang and Natalie Otten, both representing on the Firetails team last year as well. So Wentworth, an amazing coach, and it's just phenomenal to see her on the field this year representing a Div 1 Nationals. So super person, super Frisbee player, super mum, ticking all the boxes.
Hasn't missed a beat. The longevity, also much respect. So Farnkoff now starts in the backfield alongside Ma. O'Connor in support. The cutters are very far away. Ma pointing to where she wants Zoe O'Connor to go, but Anderson catches the disc in front of her. Big mark by Gregory here. On that one, Otten and Mian, both with their hands around the disc.
I think that is
Who got it first is probably the question. Let's have a look.
Let's have a look. Reeve and Meehan. Oh, that is very, very close.
I think when it's that close, too close to call, surely the disc is going to go either go back or stay with the offense. You saw Reeve sniffing that block. But the wind actually making the disc shape more of an outside in, so it was kind of blading into Mian's hands. She actually did really want to catch it. You can see it's a bit wobbly at the hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
that is so hard.
Difficult to tell from this angle. So because Mian is the offensive player, if it was simultaneous, or if the players agree that it was simultaneous, it means that Mian will retain possession. But if Reeve thinks she got the disc before Mian had, then that will be a contest and potentially go back.
We have a game advisor there just providing their perspective, not able to make an official ruling or sway the players in any way, just there to provide information, potentially some rules knowledge and application, just so that the players are making the best judgment that they can.
Yep, Nate Hess working hard here, I believe alongside Aidan Turner, the other game advisor on field.
And it looks like they are, going to send it back. Too close to Cole. And the benefit of a self-refereed sport, if we just can't agree, can't decide, too close to call, it goes back to the last clean possession, in which case we are back in the hands of Anderson.
Gregory asking for some talk from the sideline. Anderson goes a high release backhand, meets Ma, and Ma a long shot to that fat side. Weatherall on Otten. Otten gets to it. And Otten with the D, having to work doubly as hard to make sure that disc is a turnover.
Amazing second effort. I think I went, Eva's still got it there, Weatherall's still got it, but Otten making sure, using that height to her advantage. Both tall players, really, really tall players, so fantastic matchup for them.
And we have Wentworth now getting the disc off the sideline. Otten there, spicy disc backwards, but Wentworth makes it look good. Gregory now getting involved.
Oh, Cardi with an open cut there. Unfortunately, thrower facing the other direction. Can they get it to Reeve?
They can, but she has to work hard. So Reeve now looking to the fat side for Weir. Through the middle to Otten. Movement is slowing, so Lippy defense doing very well to hold Manly up and stymie the flow. Ooh. That push pass, well, I'm not sure if there was a mitt to it by Weatherall, but either way, it's a turnover. So very unfortunate for Manly, because that was a prime opportunity for them to get a break up. But there's a stoppage, and wondering if there was a call at some stage.
I haven't seen any hand signals, so I'm a bit unclear as to what the call would have been.
Maybe they're working out, okay, there was a call, but it actually didn't affect that play. So in which case, you know, that play does stand.
Oh, I see it now. Yes,
yep.
We can see a pick.
Yeah.
But yes, if the players have a conversation about whether that impacted the play around the disc. So Otten potentially just having eyes for Weir in that situation. So whatever was happening in that backfield, just the discussion around whether that would have changed the potential outcome of that throw.
I guess if they thought that, hey, if there wasn't a pick called, someone else might have been in that space, not Weir.
Yeah,
I guess does suggest that it would change.
It's an argument to make for sure, which is why these discussions happen. And it looks we've got respectful conversations from both sides.
So discussion is a little prolonged. Still a lot of chat happening. Aidan Turner, as we said, the other game advisor on standby, but hasn't been asked for perspective or clarification.
So it looks like the pick will stand, and the disc is coming back into Otten. In tense games like this, we are in a semi-final. Every point, every possession matters, so it makes sense that there was a larger discussion, as these things can be quite impactful in the long run.
For sure, and as we said, this is Manly's D-line with the disc, so if they score this one, it's a break, and they're having to work really hard.
Gregory doing an amazing job to get up for that disc.
Yeah, re-faking, goes the open shot to Cardi. Wentworth goes up, but no continuation. So Lippy marking this open side very well, covering the open cuts. Reeve gets a deep shot, but she goes to the break side to Gregory.
Finding Gregory again, wow.
What a score. Wentworth to Gregory. That score count was rising, but a very creative throw to the break side, but using an outside-in angle.
Yeah. What a fantastic one to have in your back pocket for situations like that. Just looking over the top of the congestion in front of the disc, hoping to find hands, which she did in Gregory.
And that was a very crucial point. We talked about how significant that point was and why that call and discussion was prolonged. Manly are now up a break.
Oh, we can see the hand actually went up from Gregory. Yeah, to say, hey, I'm not going to call out your name. I don't want to draw attention to myself.
I'm on.
But I'm on. Hit me in the back here, yeah.
And you see this mark by Anderson, arms waving, putting as much pressure. And like I said, all of the Ellipsis defenders had closed down this open side really well, but it did mean that there was going to be space on that break side. And as a timeout is called here, we're going to have a look at the bracket play. So
we are looking at the right-hand side. So we are looking at Asterisk versus Manly. Manly getting up on top of Chaos, and Ellipsis beating Spicy Chili. I believe that match was streamed earlier today for those wanting to go back and watch. And then, at the moment on another field next to us, we have Ellipsis and Ampersand and Rogue fighting out for their position into the gold medal match.
So the last few years has been an Ellipsis final. So I think statistically and with confidence, Lippy would be hoping to try and repeat the same feat again. But I don't know, I mean, Manly, they got over Ellipsis Asterisk quite convincingly in the earlier pool play game. You know, Ellipsis Asterisk, they didn't play badly. It was just that Manly played better. So can they repeat this effort? They always say it's hard to beat the same team twice.
It is very hard to beat the same team twice. In coming up against them in pool play, there's just not that, you know, there's still something to gain and something to lose, but a semi-final, it's going to feel different. Ellipsis, no doubt both teams want this really, really bad, and they've been working towards this type of game all season. So after the timeout, Manly with their first break coming out, sending the pool downwind. And I'm excited to see what happens next.
Me too, Lou, me too. I guess one thing that is, somewhat significant is that in pool play game, the higher you finish in your pool, potentially drawing an easier or more difficult matchup. So Manly Mavericks, they won their quarterfinal 15-2 against Chaos. Now that's a pretty wide margin. I suspect the time of that game, the duration was pretty short, so pretty fresh legs for Manly to work with as they try and get the D-line. Holly Reeve on pretty much every single point, and she is known for her gigantic pulls accentuated by this downwind direction.
After the timeout, it looks like a very similar line coming on for the Mavericks side. We have Otten on the mark.
And Reeve again with a repeat. So interesting, they've pulled across Ricard's Tang, who's generally more of an offensive player, but Lippy makes short work and they've moved it up well. Chong now. So Egan Griffiths, it looks like Otten will continue to mark up against her. Mian, rapid fakes. Wentworth on the mark. Tiny dump. Not many meters gained. Ooh. Chong, they squeeze it up this narrow sideline, and she goes an option long to Mian. So Lippy not needed a lot of space to get the work done.
A third of the field will do.
Less than a third, I think.
Yeah, about a 5 meter margin. Yes, and that's where you see the composure of Ellipsis coming in. You know, that could have been a point that they were potentially feeling a little bit rattled, a little bit under pressure, Manly wanting to come out and put another break on the board. But yeah, Ellipsis doing really well just to work it through that up the line space. Yeah, nice, confident, composed goal.
It'll
from
be very
Asterisk there.
It'll be very interesting to see how this Otten and Egan Griffiths matchup goes, right? Because like I said, they're both tall, they're both long, they're very fast as well. So we know Egan Griffiths has been an absolute stalwart of this team and of her line. In the quarterfinal, we saw her absolutely smash through the offensive points, getting every second pass. So I want to see how Nat Otten's defensive matchup, she can put some pressure on the throws or force her to throw some junk in this wind. That might give Manly an opportunity to pull away.
I think Otten is known for surprising people with her hand blocks. That wingspan of hers and that netball background, just putting her in a great position to, whether it's getting lucky or the skill, she's, definitely known for pulling out a hand block in pretty clutch moments.
Liddell goes with a long pull of her own. This one well caught by Jesslyn. Milek moves up to Reeve, so no points off for Reeve. And Ricard's Tang also doing double duty. The Ellipsis zone are setting to force it to this close sideline. Milek really wanting to get it on the high side. I like her intention there. Now they work it way through their cup. So Itoyo, Weir sets that one, tells her receiver to get moving, but that is way too far for Gregory.
I can see what Weir was thinking. I could see the space as well, but unfortunately the Manly receiver just not on the trot. Couldn't quite get there in time.
Yeah, and the execution as well, that throw had a little bit too much outside in action, and the wind also blowing this way. It was just trailing way too far for Gregory to even have a chance. And we have...
Ooh, Chong walks it up to the line and just does not hesitate to send it into the hands of Weir.
Milek now Far side. Weir has come back now. Lippy having to work with their match defense with that quick turnover. Reeve comes across to Milek. Continues. Nice shot to Gregory here. And Manly, they look so composed and controlled. Now Jesslyn with the disc. She likes to shoot. That one is a bit of an awkward blade, but Weir makes good of that attempt for a nice hold for Manly.
So Manly closing that one out means they are 6 points to 4. They are in the lead of this match. Still a break only separating these two teams in this game. So Ellipsis maybe just needing to put a little bit more work in defensively. We can see there a little bit of a scramble, not quite tights on their match there, but very quickly working it out. And yeah, Weir just that again, target in the end zone.
I have to say, Jesslyn, Milek, Reeve, Weir, all of them very skilled throwers, so it makes a difference. She can pinpoint that one between a couple of defenders. Preston covering the under, Liddell trying to help out there in the deeper space, but too good. Weir presence certainly felt. As we see here with the stats, she's on 2 goals, 2 assists already, and earning herself a break on the sideline. So as both teams settle into this game, Ellipsis need to hold to stay in touch for this first half.
Sorry, my little giggle was because the Manly sideline from the Opens division is just very calmly chanting for Manly to run down and get this defense happening.
What a way to start the pool, forcing Jess Parks to take it in from the very back of the end zone. They do well to move it up quickly to get it out of danger territory. And Tracy Chong, reliable throw. That goes to Mian, up to Parks. And Ma now, she's looking big. Elects for a smaller option. Chong floats up, and that one's got way too much float.
Oh, just couldn't get under it.
So these execution errors with the wind, not keeping the disc low enough.
That was a difficult part. Oh, we can see. Yes, Manly, we see you, we hear you. Great for clubs to have this sideline support. It can make all the difference in close games like this.
Wasting no time. Reeve goes with a big shot. Oh, and that one looking to go to Evelyn Ha, but a last-ditch attempt by Parks. Parks just running and urging herself to get through to effect and provide some defensive pressure, but I think there may have been an injury called as play stops. And
it is Jess Parks having to get some support, making it to that sideline.
As we said, she's been doing everything she can for her team. Like, not only in this game, but the quarterfinal, she absolutely put her body on the line, went up for some big contests sideways and to the ground, so body has absolutely taken a battering.
Yeah.
Megan Griffiths, a pretty handy sub in though.
And we have a tap in, so Ellipsis will be bringing that disc up to the front of their end zone there.
So
it was a good shot from Manly though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good look. I think if Ha had just taken one step towards the disc, she got caught kind of waiting for it to come into her hands, and I guess that kind of shows the different levels of experience across the two teams. Evelyn Ha, you know, a little bit, one of the younger players for Manly. She'll learn from that lesson, I'm sure. So Lippy with offense. This one is high, and scraps are picked up.
It was from Anderson there, just absolutely flew over the head of Chong.
Egan Griffiths points. She wants that long option, but it's not provided, so Mian comes in under on the open side, and Mian goes the long option. Ruby Anderson in the space, doesn't have to lay out, secures that with a clap catch. There.
Alicia. Fantastic vision. I think that's one of Meehan's strengths, is to just see those options, and she just put a beautifully weighted backhand out into that space. And yeah, Alicia, another very, very third season with Ellipsis, I think. Just a very we used to say, glue on her hands. Very, very sticky hands.
And
it's a beautiful coast. Look at that. Absolute air. Yep. Fantastic. And Weir was there, wanting to find that D, but just...
So Pankhurst losing a few centimetres there against Egan Griffiths. Otten not on the matchup this time. But Mian, as you said, these connections of these players have been playing together a long, long time, proving dividends.
I'm wondering if Manly needs to take an extra second on their defense perhaps and recognise who these throwers are, because I think in those positions, if you're letting them have that space to throw, they're going to take it, and they're going to take shots like that, and I wonder if Manly can make an adjustment.
The other thing is, I think when the Manly D-line do manage to gain possession, they need to make the most of it, right? Because the more opportunities you let slip against a quality team like Ellipsis, you know, that might be your undoing. So Lippy out with their zone again. Manly working their way through the cup. So as we said, they've got plenty of strong throwers who can move things upwind. Now they move around the cup, but there's no continuation on the fat side, so that is something that they could potentially adjust to make it a bit easier for themselves. Milek, she likes the long look, but opts for a small one. Weir, Lynn, all playing small ball together.
That cup just letting those little ones through, maybe that's something they've all agreed on. The crashes are not actually happening.
Now they work it nicely to that fat side. Reeve, that's a bladey shot, but Lynn, plenty of time to read it. Travel called, so Cherie adjusts. And I like that Manly are aggressively looking to get the disc to that fat side. They don't want to get trapped on this sideline. That is what the Lippy Cup are trying to do. So Atoyo now gets involved. Some nice fakes to move the cup and move the marks.
Oh, we can see how Lewis has adjusted to a bit of an assassination on Weir there, but it finds the hands of Wentworth for the score.
So that was a very nice, clean hold for Manly. It feels like it's been a while since we've seen one of them. Only required 9 passes, interestingly. So the zone managing to slow down, I guess, the pace of the Manly offense, but eventually they do get through fairly easily. And that is only Manly's second clean hold of the game, evening up things with Asterisk's O-line. They've also had 2 clean holds.
Oh, I didn't quite see that throw before, but that was a beautiful shot from Itoyo to find that gap in the cup. You can see she does have a number of Ellipsis players in front of her, and
it's just Lynn.
It's Lynn who makes the throw. I apologise. And yeah, just to find that laser through to Wentworth, who was coming from behind. Just great vision and use of space there.
I know we talk about Karen Mars, one of the best throwers in the country, but I think Jess Lynn has really got a bit of a building resume as well.
And she looks so calm.
Yep.
I think there's just this focus that you can see even from where we're sitting, that she's out there to play, and she's out there to move the disc with all the confidence and skill she can.
Yeah, and I think that's rubbing off on the rest of Manly's O-line. They don't look frazzled at all, right? Like, the stall count, even though it's rising, they're like, you know what, we're going to find an option. The composure from Manly is currently unmatched, whereas a couple of these Lippy offensive possessions, it feels like they are really rushed. You know, they look nervous, which is unusual for us to see. But they work it up nicely now to that high side. That one rattled, absolutely rattled. We're talking about the composure from Manly. It's a real contrast. Lippy feel like they have to get things moving because this Manly defense, and Otten now gets involved.
Making quick work of that defensive turn. And that is another break for Manly. So they are now 2 breaks ahead, and you're really not feeling comfortable in your lead until you are widening that separation. So Manly is going to be really happy, and they've actually taken half.
Wow, that felt like that was in a blink of an eye. That first half, 48 minutes, very efficient. So Manly defense, once they got possession, they weren't going to give that one up.
So we see Reeve picking it up, and Otten just making a move straight from the stack. 2 defenders recognizing that throw, but the steady hands of Otten.
So the first half, Manly offense have remained so composed. They've held up their end of the bargain, whereas Lippy Asterisk, they look to be a little bit unsettled. knowing that they've already lost once to this Manly Mavericks outfit. And so giving up 3 breaks. They did get that first break of the game, first point of the game actually to start with. But then the 3 breaks given up to Manly Mavericks, they have absolutely dominated this first half. So looking forward to an interesting second one.
Definitely, and you can see even the difference there. We actually can notice that the Mavericks, the leadership are consulting with their coaching staff, and I think Asterisks are operating internally. So it's the players and the leaders that are having this discussion and that are working through their strategy. So. Could that be a point of difference? Does having that off-field perspective, and I'm sure the coaches bring a lot of experience and strategy to that Manly side.
For sure. So, Lou, looking forward to a very exciting second half. Make sure you stay tuned to ulti.TV. We will see you on the other side. Manly Mavericks up 8-5 against Ellipsis Asterisk. We are back in this big women's semi-final matchup of Ellipsis Asterisk versus Manly Mavericks. We have the crew at ULTI.TV working very hard. Greenie usually on the mic, now on the gimbal getting some frames of us. So I think we're looking forward to seeing more of the players rather than our ugly mugs, Luke.
I have a voice for radio, not a face for television.
That's right. I have to say I agree. So we've got Lippy now. They start on offense, working downwind, but we know that they are down 2 breaks of margin. That one is too high, and Kim brings that one down, so Manly with an opportunity to break in the first point of the second half. So Otten, that's a high shot, but Wentworth goes upstairs to take that one down with one hand. Moves it back to Reeve. And a round break. That's a nice one to Otten. Oof, there's a little bit of contact there. But gets up. There's a foul call, quickly accepted. I don't even know who called the foul, but either way, the disc will stay with Otten. Getting down on her knees, Kim. Secures that possession. And Manly move it to that fat side. Wentworth points, but looks unsure, so opts for that around shot, but too far out in front for Rickard's tank. Meehan doesn't want to waste time, goes a long option immediately. There's Chong and Anderson, but Wu rises above both. Beating the two. Reeve almost drops that disc from Strawn. Secures that with Meehan on the mark. Kim's been involved several times already this point. Haven't seen her too much in the first half, but getting motoring now.
There for that round.
Nice around shot there, so they move it to the far side using the width. Stoddard goes full extension. That disc flies out of her hands. Ma picks up to Tracy Chung. Just opting to dump, so Manly coordinating the defense very well, using a switch here as well. So Meehan marked by Reeve, fakes a flick, goes a low release. That one meets Chong. And too high for Meehan. Reeve, catch block, fakes, even though there's no one there. And up one to Otten, that one goes in and out of hands, so a couple of bobbles. I like the fact that Manly are attacking that far sideline, but they have to control their throws just a little more. It's popping up and giving opportunity. An overhead hammer and a bid by O'Connor. No dice. Reeve wants to get it out of there, playful position. She does have receivers as well, but that one's fading out on the sideline.
I think both teams just wanting to pick it up so quickly, wanting to get it moving quickly, but I think I'm seeing a bit of franticness when we should be seeing composure coming out of halftime. I think rushing those throws is just causing a little bit of skill error.
Yeah, Manly, they worked their way up through small ball, through that Lippy zone and 3-match coverage as well. So just Reeve needing to have to control things a little more, have that patience that they had in the first half, because all they need to do is continue holding. So Caro Ma now trying to get a hold for her team. Moves it up to Weatherall. Feels like it's been a while since we called her name, but maybe she can be one of the impact players here to bring Ellipsis up. And a well-received shot.
The day.
Again, being asked a lot of, but proving up to the task. Otten with the matchup. She goes a hammer of her own. Meehan, 2 hands. And it was going to be a simple shot to Ma, but it floats above her head.
You can see Meehan just, yes, it just needed to be a little backhand there, a forehand in this wind. It can just get carried away, and you could see that moment of, she knew the moment it came out of her hand, it was not what she was hoping to find.
As you said, needing to get that wrist snap to make sure that the disc maintains its intended flight path. I really hope Holly Reeve this time maintains a little bit more composure. I know she just wants it out of there. She doesn't want to have this disc in her defending end zone, but they've got the skills, so why not back themselves? Kim has been one of the young guns on this team and really come to life in the second half. Otten ever reliable alongside Strawn. So Strawn this time goes a big option, Anderson's read that one all day. Where's a bit of contact on the way down? Weatherall now. She goes a big option. No one wants to play small ball in this second half. And Reeve makes a big show of making sure she gets that D. Doesn't want the extra block stat to her name. Oh, Strawn goes a layout, but that one is ground stripped. So Ma won't make the same mistake here as Mian. But she goes...
Pick cold, which needs to be caught. Very well done.
Well, I mean, if it affected play, so if the players agree they all stopped and that affected the play, actually can go back with the new edition of the rules, Luke. So 2025, not sure if you've done your accreditation.
I think I'm just afraid. I'm afraid of picks and turnovers.
Oh, better to be safe than sorry. So Ma fakes that backhand. Now goes the upstairs high release to Anderson. And a well-earned point there by Lippy after several attempts.
They will be very happy to have put that one into the end zone. I think both teams, just almost an energy of just feeling rushed. And if we think back when that big over throw went and Holly was on her own defensively, she picked it up and it didn't need to be rushed.
Yeah.
For that Strawn laying out.
Some great saves there. Alicia getting to the ground, having to work hard for all of her possessions, it feels. Strawn. So the cap clutch, unfortunately, that left hand as it came to contact the ground, the velocity pops the disc out of her hands. And you see Karen Mart looking for that backhand that Mian wanted earlier and threw the flick. But in the end...
Mari is a quick learner. She would have very quickly recognised that was not going to come out the shape in which she wanted, despite a good cut. Trusting the little backhand instead.
And that face mark, unfortunately, for Wu meant that Anderson could just pop wherever she liked. Wu not having eyes for the disc.
So Ellipsis holding, meaning the scoreline is now 8-6. Manly still up those 2 breaks. And for Manly, it's just a game of holding.
Yep, absolutely. If they can keep the composure, and that is Milek with a long shot to Wea, but a tap on by Preston to get the block.
Very, very well done from Preston to have a double effort on that one. I think Wea probably would have had a go at it had it not been for Preston's follow-through D there.
So Ellipsis, this is an opportunity for a break. Can they take advantage? Preston goes up, and I think there was a tip on that disc there, somewhere in the flurry of bodies. So Manly O-line with another opportunity. Ricard's Tang working hard under, but Lynn going for a longer option in Gregory. That one bounces out of the hands as well. Well, there's a foul called on the throw and quickly accepted. Law on Lynn. You can see that one probably bladed a little bit more than she intended.
Still came out pretty nice. But
so there's a foul, accepted foul. So Lynn with the sunnies there, walking back. And there's also an injury called. So Lynn is actually going to come off. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe that contact on the arm just wanted a little bit of a break.
The throwing hand.
Yep.
Very, very tricky in a game where you are throwing with your obviously preferred hand. If I'm a right-hander and my right hand, it gets a bit of a whack. You want that reliability in your throwing. So, well done. I think that was quite a selfless act to take herself off in that position.
Absolute team play, and you got Holly Reeve coming on, a pretty decent replacement, I'd say. But the Cutters are a little far away downfield. I think they're either having to reset their positions, otherwise Reeve will have to look for a dump. But she doesn't. Instead, she goes for aggressive.
Laser.
Yeah, aggressive long option, and that is a quick continue. We are to Ricard's Tang.
Really, really well done there. I think so funny to see Holly Reeves just take exactly the same option. She liked what she saw when it came out of Lim's hands. So finding Wea, who very quickly found Ricard's Tang. A lot of speed. You can see Ricard's Tang actually starts behind. And she's just absolutely flying, finding herself in the end zone there.
I have to say kudos to Atoya, and I think it was Ricard's Tang earlier who provided the under options, but those under options meant that they could clear that deep space, right? Draw those defenders away so Ellipsis couldn't add some help defense, which is, part of the reason why Kyle Weir was so open in that deep space.
I think with a receiver like Weir, the more you can isolate her and give her that opportunity, if it's a one-on-one matchup and it's her against that defender, you know that 9 out of 10, a high percentage of time she's going to be coming down with it. So really well done for Manly to give her that space.
Yep. Yeah, it's not always the stars who are getting every possession, but it's the other players who are working hard to create the space that, means that it's a big team effort. And a big pull from Reeve. It's a pretty decent option upwind. Ellipsis now work it past their defending brick mark. So we've got Reeve on Mien. So you can see Reeve standing off a little, preventing those long options from Mien. Now, as the score count rises, Reeve gets a hand
Did
block.
she get a hand? Wow. Absolutely. What an amazing block. Let's watch that again.
And you see Reeve, so she closes in now and applies pressure as that Mien flick is released. Milek now working to the close side to Kati. Milek on that upline cut, doesn't like the look, doesn't like that swing, but Reeve now comes upline power position. Weir, but the pick is called. Did it affect? So Weatherall saying that she was prevented from chasing Kim. Jenna Kim from Manly, one of the young guns here. She will be playing in the upcoming Under-24 Worlds campaign for Team Australia. So there we go, and that is not in just yet. So
Weatherall makes a very quick recovery.
Reeve with a disc. Kim working hard to go under. Instead, she goes to Kati and pops a little one to Evelyn Ha. Another one of the 24's reps for Manly.
I think Manly will be very happy. The score now reading 6-10. So that lead, like we were saying, it's widening. It's really... Yeah, so a break from the Mavericks there to seal that goal, and an upwind break, no less.
Yeah, these upwind breaks really pivotal on a couple of the previous stream games today. Once a team scores an upwind break, it means that they force the other team to go upwind. So applying defensive pressure, making Ellipsis throw more passes on this point, maybe pulling away another. So that is a hold and a break for Manly early in this second half. As you say, Lou, up 10-6 and looking the goods. So we have a look at the overall stats.
So Mavericks obviously tearing ahead. It would have been one break apiece, but yeah, 3 extra breaks puts them in the position of 10-6. Turns very similar and holds very similar. So both teams with 2 clean holds. It's really just those break opportunities that Mavericks are maximising on. They are capitalising and putting points on the board. So Ellipsis really need to respond with those opportunities themselves as they appear. Manly's not giving up the disc too often, but the opportunities are there.
And a big pull again from Reeve.
Just a bit of a bubble from Chong. I think everybody
held their breath there. Anderson just gives a bit of a clap on the back saying, oh, nice work, Panya. And not gaining too many meters. Weatherall now up to the front of stack in Ma. Wentworth marking her. Ma wanting everyone to clear that space, but that is a fantastic D.
And it's clean from Evelyn Ha. So putting her stamp on this game.
Evelyn Ha, fresh after converting or scoring that previous goal, now gets herself a block on the stats board. Coming alive.
Is this another opportunity for Manly that they will be capitalising on?
Again, the cut is very far away, so Reeve, no surprises, go for a big shot, but we are in a paddock of space in that back left corner. We called it 2 breaks in a row.
Yes. Wow. And you know what? That's the difference in this game. An opportunity for Manly, just an error. Not an error. Evelyn Ha with that phenomenal D, and Manly just capitalising. You can really see the momentum shift. Manly has the energy there. Their sideline is still there supporting them.
Oh, and check that out. No problem getting her body on the line here. Karama, she knew that was coming. She just took that inside shoulder, drove Chong away from the disc, manages to get her body in between the disc and her opponent, and Reeve pinpoint, as you said, isolating Weir in that backspace. Again, proving very successful.
I think Reeve actually had some other, some under opportunities, but yeah, the connection between her and Weir is just undeniable.
We are now up to 3 goals and 3 assists. Holly Reeve, 1 goal and 3 assists, and Jess Lynn with the 1 goal and 3 assists. So a lot of the very creative throwers responsible for a lot of the goals. And no surprises, timeout called after getting broken twice in a row.
Yeah, and we've got some vision of Ellipsis' timeout here, and you know, energy still seems high. There is always a beauty in just enjoying your teammates, enjoying the opportunity to play together. It's a tight-knit club, it's a tight-knit group of players, and I think both clubs have a great community behind them, and regardless of the scoreboard, I think they're trying. They're running their absolute best, and at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for.
What do you think the key is to kind of tidy up this offense for Ellipsis?
I think they're feeling the defensive pressure. I think Manly has put enough of a stamp on to say, you know, we're here and we mean business. And I think a lot of those close contests, Manly is coming down with it, and I think it's responding to the conditions. Just a little errors on their throws here and there. It's just making all the difference. So yeah. We can see Kaya Weir's stats here. We are now up to 3 goals and 3 assists. Really, really impressive.
And Holly Reeve, partner in crime, right beside her on the line. We can hear the Manly sideline getting up the cheer, getting the energy up. They want another break.
Let's see, Ellipsis will be coming into this point wanting to treasure the disc. It's their possession to own, it's their clean hold to get. It's going to come down to making sure of their throws.
And Lippy also not to be outdone on the sideline. They are urging their players on, being like, hey, you can do this, you got the confidence, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a set play out of this timeout.
Oh, we see a side stack.
So isolating Chong, but doesn't like that initial look. So the set play doesn't necessarily come off, although there is some contact downfield and a foul is called. So accepted quickly by Kim. So they're trying to isolate Weatherall now. Maybe Chong was a deterrent. Weatherall gets a nice open under. Moves it up to Anderson. Small swing back here. Weir goes horizontal at shoulder height. I told you, man, they wanted another break.
That's the block we're talking about. That's the block that changes the game.
And that's also that defensive pressure that you mentioned, Lou. Asterisk very skittish now on all of their possessions, but unfortunately, horizontal this time is not the correct direction. Ellipsis with another opportunity. Ma hoists a long one to Weatherall. She gets horizontal to make sure of it. Everyone looking to get on the ground. And Anderson now, that is a relief for the Asterisk offensive line.
Yeah, I think Manly, again, showing their pressure, showing that any close contest like that, the throw needs to be an absolutely precise throw. Otherwise, Manly are going to get their hands on it.
See here, Anderson's shot here. We are getting horizontal. When you've got players like we are, Kim, you know, who are willing to bid and can really accelerate through, it just, as you mentioned, provides that extra perceived pressure, right? So you might not have anyone that has space, but knowing the intensity, knowing that the defense is always going to be just behind your shoulder, that has certainly amounted to a lot of these forced turnovers in addition to the outright blocks.
But we can see, yeah, Weatherall and Anderson working well to get the goal in that little corner space at the front of the end zone. And you're right, the sense of relief from Ellipsis to have that as a hold, not a clean hold, but a hold. And that's what matters. So we are looking at 11-7 on the scoreboard with Manly starting on offense.
Of note, Asterisk are missing their best defender. And the best defender in Australia, Sally Yu, doesn't look like she'll be playing this game. I saw her with the jumper on, patrolling the sideline. So that is a big
Also
loss.
known for her defensive presser and her willingness and absolute drive to put her body on the line to get those big blocks.
So Lynn now back on field after calling that injury. Sub works with Ricard's Tang. So this time a 4-person cup for Lippy, trying to put more bodies around the disc. And so they managed to force Manly into some short throws. We are now a nice around shot to Milek. She looks to continue, but the cup of Ellipsis do well to close that one down. But we are again with a lovely shot through the cup. Milek again just making sure she's extra secure and diving to ensure she stops rotation. And that is a beautiful hammer to Gregory. They are forced on this sideline, but again, that's probably her 3rd time throwing through the cup this point.
So effortless.
Oh, and Milek finds the hole in this Ellipsis zone, cruise along to a clean hold to Gregory.
I think Ellipsis responding with the zone, it's a good option. I think changing up from the match defense at this point of the game, it's almost like, what have you got to lose? But it just really showed that Weir has the throwing skill to get around it. Just one big step and it's around the cup and they're out of position.
And showing that, hey, if you want to...
through the cup, just finding those gaps. And the overhead as well, we saw the hammer from Weir. So...
beautiful shot here. So, as we said, the throwing depth in this Manly offense line just proving too hot to handle. Lippy, they've, as you said, Lou, they've thrown some different zones, and I like it. You have to do something different because if you keep doing the same thing, it's the definition of insanity. But we are, as you said, she had that nice wide around shot to get behind the cup with that around break. But then when they tried to cover that backwards around shot, she just threw it on the inside shoulder. So you stop one thing, but she can work through your zone another way.
So what do you do, Avril? Do you play match on Weir? Do you play zone on Weir?
Yeah, well, you did say, I think earlier there was a point when Lewis was trying to assassinate
Correct.
Weir, right?
It was very close to the end zone and just a slight adjustment. It was almost as if whether it was player autonomy or whether they'd made that decision to just... there was an assassination outside the end zone.
Yeah, you got to put your biggest player on Weir to match up, but Chong this time Weir with a very wide mark, and that one Mian speeds up to the disc to meet it. This time she's marked by Reeve. That one's a high one, but O'Connor with the grab. That is Wentworth with a bid. She gets up quickly to apply pressure to the throw. Farnkoff makes the cut, not on. So Ma goes a long option. That works all the way downfield. And there, Ellipsis with a clean hold. And again, breathe another sigh of relief.
So Weatherall to O'Connor there. And Manly got close. Wentworth was just absolutely had a sniff on that one. But Ma showing her experience and composure to keep that one in her hands.
Yeah, after that bid, Wentworth getting up very quickly to make sure to apply some pressure to Ma's shot. This one gets through to Weatherall, and then O'Connor, when in flow, manages to get steps in front of Carty. So as the sun starts to fade and the shadows are cast over the field.
The tree, the shade is definitely creeping over the field. And as someone sitting in the shade of the tree, it's a different temperature.
It's much cooler here.
It's starting to feel cool as well as windy.
Yeah, so will the shadows of Manly Mavericks haunt Ellipsis Asterisk again after their loss to them in pool play? Caro Ma this time on the pull. So Caro pulled across to the defense line.
And we can see her stats up here. She is going with 3 assists, which is right up her alley.
Not unexpected. Caro Ma doing Caro Ma things. So that one is a bit of a roller pull. So a different zone look, perhaps a force middle. So Lou, as you said, bringing out all the tricks. Definitely don't want to leave.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely don't want to leave any stone unturned when you get to this semi-final stage. Oh, but just
have they transitioned? I'm just...
Oh, we are all by herself at the back. Surely they've got to get someone on her. But Itoyo now working small block, and we are too easy for Manly.
I definitely think if you're going to operate with that zone, I like the force middle. I like the idea of keeping it away from the sidelines. Manly is very, very comfortable putting those sides, putting those shots up on the forehand and backhand down the line. So great adjustment there from Ellipsis. But again, if you're going to play that zone, you need to be conscious and aware of where Weir is.
You can see Ma, they're pointing, being like, someone, you got to get on Weir. And Egan Griffiths kind of jogs, not realising that the disc has advanced so far ahead. And I have to say, Itoyo put in a ton of work there as well. She just finds herself in such smart spaces, such an intelligent player, and also so balanced in her throwing set as well. And Panya Preston was disc watching, reacted but not quick enough, but cops a little contact on the way. So after those 2 breaks straight, so they had that upwind break, Manly, broke again. Then it's been clean holes both teams after that. So are Ellipsis running out of time? Mavericks now up 13-8, Lou.
Yeah, I mean, it's game to 15. So if we continue on this trajectory, all Manly's got to do is just hold out. That's 2 more offense points. Ellipsis needs to do something. Ellipsis needs to hold here and then get some D points on the board.
Chong and Ma working together. Mien, no surprises. I like that they've started her downfield, because if she can get that kind of first undercut, she can get a nice flow, but Manly do well to kind of stymie and put off those longer looks. So Farnkoff now waving hands. Oh, and well done by again, having to catch a difficult throw. She's having to work for every possession. That one is too far for O'Connor. Fades towards the sideline.
I think the mark did well on that one. Oh, and that's because we see, I was going to say, they did well to really narrow down the throwing channel, made that a difficult angle fitting there, but turns out it was a bit of contact.
Yeah, I thought it was very wide, asking a big question, but I mean, Alicia, her teammates have been asking big questions of her too, making her catch everything under pressure today.
And like I said, very, very gluey hands.
So Otten, a very wide mark here, and goes for that same space, but that one again is overthrown to O'Connor.
Definitely more the angle she was hoping for. Ooh,
a foul again.
Deja vu.
So Otten, that wide wingspan, just getting in the way twice now.
Is she trying to get off a break though? Is that where the contact is coming from?
It looks like a flat-ish mark, to be honest, by Otten. But we'll get replay number 3.
Yep, 3rd time's a charm. If she puts it up again, I'll be very surprised. There we go.
And this time Otten does stand off the mark as well. Ma now with her long option. O'Connor, full extension, one-hand grab.
O'Connor putting some points on the board in the most spectacular fashion in this second half. That end zone is her end zone. She has claimed it. Absolutely fantastic effort from O'Connor. Being in that deep space, receiving not 1, not 2, but 3 deep passes from her teammates and able to connect on the 3rd one there. We see, fully outstretched, managing to keep that disc alive. And Cardi knowing it was coming, but just got a bit turned around. So we now have Mavericks on 13, Asterisk on 9. We are following the pattern. Ellipsis is holding. Is this their opportunity though? They only have a small time left in this game to put a break on the board. They are starting on defense. Will they come down in a zone?
So have Asterisk left it too late? They've put on a strong D-line here. Wouldn't be surprised if they come down in that zone again. And they do here with Brass on the mark.
Oh, and we see Lynn back on the field.
Yeah, she's been really steady despite copping that contact, but Manly whip through Ellipsis' zone very quickly, so they collapse to match. Rickard's tang now. We are working up line. No continuation this time, so now gets horizontal there. Itoyo Law with defensive pressure. There's a bit of chat. Guessing there's some kind of foul call.
From what it looks like here, Otoyo managing to keep her hands on the disc. I don't feel like her possession or the disc being up is necessarily what's in conversation at the moment. But did she have to move through her defensive player in order to win that disc?
So it looks like both of the players went for a layout bid.
It looked like Otoyo was in front.
Yeah, I agree. I think Amy Law was on the back shoulder, so she would have had to go through Otoyo to get a bid on that one. As the crew do really well.
You can see that, yeah, she just does well to get her shoulder in front and then...
Yeah, I thought Otoyo had really good body position here. I don't think Law was ever going to be able to make a bid on that one, but unless there was some kind of, earlier push-off or something like that, which I don't see, but you don't know what the players are feeling. It's always hard to call when you weren't there.
So it looks like the players are now referring to the perspective of both the game advisor and nearby players. We are being the one to throw the... Oh, and you can just see they have called it a goal.
So muted celebrations after that protracted discussion, but Otoyo, as you said, she's worked really hard all day today, and she gets a goal and assist for her efforts.
So, wow, Mavericks 14-9. They are 1 point away from the gold medal match here at the Australian Ultimate Championships. That has got to feel good, and it has got to be what is charging their tanks at the moment to finish off this game.
Asterisks have left it far too late, but I mean, every single question that Ellipsis Asterisks have asked of Manly have been able to respond. Tactically, they've put on match defense. They've put on, 3 different zones, I think, a force middle, 4 sideline, 3-3-1, and then a 4-4-2-1. So every time Manly have the answers to work through. The Ellipsis defense in prime position now. But surely the Ellipsis O-line, they've had some good track record for this half. They've managed 3 clean holds and a dirty one. So can they extend this game?
The score in their previous matchup being 15-11. So we are very close. We are very close to a similar score line to their previous matchup in pool play.
That pool lands just out of bounds. I reckon that was on the line, if not within centimetres of it. So let off for Lippy. Chong to take it from the brick mark.
Looks to me like they have set up a play coming off of this brick to start off with. You can see a side stack.
Again, isolating this time Mian, but a switch on the defense. Wentworth does really well to stop that initial look. Now Karimar comes back and she shoots. That's a bladey shot. No receiving side. I think Milek might have caught that. I do not know how.
Are we playing soccer? What was that?
And Manly quickly work it up. Is this going to be game point? Milek off to Kati. No one marking. Otten wants it. Mia now applies pressure on the mark, and we are! That is game and a win for Manly Mavericks!
Off to the gold medal match. They have every reason to be celebrating, every reason to be proud. To finish off on a break.
That was an incredible effort by Manly. They were just the better team all day. Asterisk never had a look in other than the very first point, which is a break to Lippy. Manly just motored through and accelerated and built. As you said, they won that pool play match 15-11. This time, getting over Ellipsis Asterisk 15-9. So they are fine-tuning their run to this gold medal match, and I'm sure they're looking forward to bringing some silverware home.
And I think just a bigger picture of it has last few nationals, it has been a Ellipsis versus Ellipsis final in the women's division. So Manly bringing about a change in the scene. To see a different, to see Manly representing in the gold medal match is something that they will be very excited of and very proud of. And very deserving of.
Oh, 100%. I think, both of these games, I don't think Lippy played badly, right? Like, it was just that Manly were so clean. When their D-line gained possession, more often than not, they seem to convert. So, Manly, this feels like it's a bit of a turning of tides in women's ultimate in Australia. Really good to see Manly in the gold medal match, as we see
Kaya Weir finishing with 5 goals and 3 assists and just looking joyful when she does it. An absolute community around her. There is clear, they just celebrate each other non-stop, and I think each player has something to walk away from with that game. Really proud. A highlight reel for a lot of those under-24s players. Put that on the resume.
I am so looking forward to see the likes of Ha and Kim light up for Australia in the under-24s. We know that there's some under-24s representatives from the Ellipsis Club as well. So plenty of fantastic ultimate today. What a way to wrap up day 3 of the Australian Ultimate Championships. But plenty more ultimate tomorrow. It is going to be finals day, the medal matches.
Yeah.
I am so pumped. So this is Avril Tam and Lou Batista signing off for ulti.TV. We will see you again tomorrow.
Thanks for watching.
You try to make yourself feel better by taking me down. Once I fell, but now I'm strong. I'm ready for the rematch. Shoot me down, don't you know I get up? Yeah, baby, I will fight. No, there ain't nothing stopping me. I'm bulletproof.
Amazing. Working hard out there, honey's got to get a few breaks soon.
He wants the glory. Up getting hammered to score. Throw in. Dowell with the winning goal. Colony wins.
ulti.TV.